Despite Manipur cabinet recommending Governor Anusuya Uike convene an assembly session from August 21st, the House did not sit on Monday as no notification has been issued. But another development has overtaken every other development, and that is that the Kuki bodies have again blocked National Highway 2, and this highway connects Imphal to Dimapur. Another body has also threatened to block National Highway 37. Let me come to the point and ask Brijesh, what is this politics of blocking national highways? I mean to say, you can do your politics, you can get your stuff by pressurizing politicians, you can have your position, you can have your position, but what is this issue? What is this issue of blocking the highway and disempowering the common people? Before I come to Brijesh, just let me go to Mr. Suhas Chakma. What is this politics?
Well, this is basically to bring the government to the knees, because at the end of the day, if people do not get the basic facilities in terms of access to medicine, in terms of access to food, petroleum, gasoline, etc., then the government is forced to take certain decisions. And I think everybody is trying to use this particular means to put pressure on the other side. I think at this point of time, I think the Kukis believe that because their roads from Manipur, Mizoram sides are open, so they will not be under pressure. But all the groups, whether it's the Meiteis or the Kukis, they have been using it regularly. In the Northeast, this has been one of the means which is used. If we had seen earlier in Assam, all Buddhist Union used to actually disrupt the entire railway services to put pressure on the government of Assam and the government of India to bring them to the table. And often the government, because they do not know how to deal with it, they are forced to listen to the demands or sit across to the table. I think what complicates this time is that you cannot find a solution by sitting across with one group. And if you have, the Kukis resorting to blocking of the national highways, then you have the Meiteis resorting to it. Then, of course, the hardship becomes too strong. The Nagas themselves will retaliate. And it's a situation which had gone completely out of control. As you have seen, you had initially mentioned that, even the assembly session could not be held in Imphal. So it basically shows that it's a situation which has gone completely out of control of the government of India.
This is the unprecedented Kamali ho gaya, you can't even get the assembly session to take place. Mr. Chakma, you have a national highway blocked, and then you can't even have an assembly session. There is no place to discuss anything. There is no discussion.
Well, I mean, there are no discussions whatsoever, and the discussions are taking place behind the back without the concurrence of each party, where only three dominant communities, at least, the Nagas, the Kukis, and the Meiteis, have contesting claims. And what the government of India has been trying to work out is basically talk to each group separately. And ultimately, even if you reach agreement with one particular group, there is no guarantee that that's something which will be liked by the other parties. And each party is strong. Because if you look at the Kukis in Manipur, they have the support of the state government of Mizoram. And if you look at the Nagas themselves are a powerful community. They have the support of the neighboring Nagaland. Then Meiteis are quite a majority in Manipur. So I think it's a situation, instead of creating a semblance of atmosphere where each party could come across, the whole idea of separate administration. You are having the Assam Rifles, from the beginning, I think, from the time they transported the population from one area to the other area and, handing over the administration or enforcement of law and orders to each communities, I think this was disastrous, and there is no way you can go back. If 2,000 Kuki, civil servants from the Kuki community cannot join the Manipur state government, of course, the administration itself is not functioning. So it basically shows that the center had no clue.
Okay, center has no. Mr. Bansal, what is this thing of burning empty houses? The visuals which we have played, they belong to people. It's not important whether an ex-MP, ex-MLA, but what is this of burning empty houses?
See, as we have been discussing in the past, and I have narrated it number of times, that the kind of hatred is among the community, it is too high. So they found that this MP's house, who's from other community, and it could not be burnt in the initial phase. So they just gathered together and burnt it. Nevertheless, it's quite the hater has to get out of the mind of the people, and unfortunately, nobody is making any effort towards getting the communities together. So that is very, very unfortunate, and that's what Mr. Chakma also said. I fully agree with him that we need to bring in the communities together rather than talking with the communities separately with each other, like separately in piecemeal. It's certainly not right.
Okay, there is another thing I'll get you. You know, there is a picture I would like to play. I'll come to that picture. But okay, now the picture has already been played. Let me ask that question. What is this gun doing in Manipur?
So it is a Vickers machine gun. It is a beast. I must call it as a beast. These guns are of Second World War vintage, and probably they were in the custody of Manipur police. They were left. And as I heard, I'm not very sure that I heard from the people that these were the guns who were looted along with the over 4,000 weapons who were looted on 3rd and 4th of May. And it is really a beast with a range of about 2 to 4 kilometers. And it is a
2 to 4 kilometers.
Weapon.
2 to 4 kilometers.
Yes, exactly 2 to 4 kilometers. It is a water cooled gun. So there is a water inlet in that, because when it fires at a rate of 500 bullets per minute, that is the rate of fire which it fires. When it fires at the rate of 500 bullets per minute, the barrel gets heated. So it has an automatic mechanism to cool down the barrel with the use of water.
Now, if you don't say that this is Manipur, someone will think that I'm playing pictures from Ukraine.
No, it is Manipur. It is Manipur.
So, Haji, you want to come in?
Pictures are...
Oh, no, I'm saying that if I don't say it is Manipur, people will think that galti se producers ne Ukraine ki photo laga di hai. Kartikeya should get it right, huh? So, Haji,
No,
I think you have a shock on your face.
No, I was completely shocked. And I just want to take on from what Major Bansal had said. You know, I mean, 4,000 to 5,000 arms looted. I think what the government of India is not understanding is one simple fact, that every community, because of the existence of the armed groups, because of the availability of easy arms, both inside the country as well as from Myanmar, I mean, every community is armed to the teeth. Now, if you look at this kind of conflict, which people usually talk about, whether in former Yugoslavia, when Yugoslavia collapsed, or Rwanda or Burundi, you know, when various kind of insurgent groups, you know, operate. You have seen in the Middle East, in the Lebanon, you know, where Israelis and have been fighting all other groups in operating from Lebanon, etc. I think the security forces do not have the capacity to bring the situation under control. And at this point of time, since everybody is so much armed to the teeth, now what do the army or the, you know, paramilitary forces could do? If you go and enforce the security, you know, the law enforcement, if you use the force, because everybody has so much deep hatred inside, and they will confront them, and it will lead to the loss of civilians' life, and in huge numbers. And people are not scared to die in this kind of situation. So army cannot use the force. On the other hand, you cannot actually take away the arms, because nobody is going to give up the arms, even if you do coordinate.
You know, Sahaji, this is the second part of debate. It makes the job of army tough because you have lethal power in their hand. You know, Kashmir theatre did not have these Gatling guns. Is it the Beast gun? You know, they had AK-47. Yes, Amit. Tell me, Amit, unmute yourself, right? Huh?
It is not a Gatling gun. It is a single barrel gun, but it is a very high caliber and high power gun.
It's a high power. It's okay. It's a high power gun. You know, Kashmir theatre even didn't have that. But the problem is, you have 4,000 of them somewhere in the Imphal Valley, and we'll get to it. What these guns can do. But as I was talking to Brijesh, you know, Batchit to chhod do, people are getting starved. Again, the national highway is being like disrupted.
Well, I think, you know, this is just a pressure politics, because earlier you remember, you know, the Kotu groups and others have been alleging that movement of essential items from valley to hill is not that much, and they are facing a lot of shortage. And this, if they block the national highway too, it impacts, you know, supply of several critical things which comes from Chura Chandpur down to Imphal. And that is the reason why this blockade will impact life in Imphal. And you know, this blockade is also sending a message that everything is back to square one. It's just sending a message to the state government, it's sending a message to the central government that everything is now back to square one, right where you started. Because, you know, forget talks, you know, we were discussing this on Saturday, Kartikeya, and you know, they were and also on Friday, about, you know, how there is no peace process or track to a parallel thing is happening. I mean, you know, there was just one attempt at peace process and it fizzled out even before it started. And such is the hatred and animosity that, you know, 90% of the people who were there, 10% didn't spoke, 90% of them said their names have been taken without their consent. This is the deep divide and hatred which we are talking about. So now we are back to a blockade of highways, you know, difficulty of in supply of essential items and all. The Manipur police has said that they have ensured that, you know, 100 plus trucks movement of their has been ensured. But I think it is going to become very, very difficult for people in Manipur if this blockade continues for long.